Now, with regard to all these things, right, there are basically inspectors appointed. Okay, so with regard to inspector, there is provision given under section 14. The state government may appoint an inspector for the purpose of this act. Whether things are done properly or not, with regard to that, some inspection might be needed, right? So for that, we have inspectors. Every inspector shall be deemed to be a public servant within the meaning of IPC. So public servant, basically, when we say, right, within the meaning of IPC, public servant is like we have like a list of crimes which may be committed against public servant. So those crimes lead to serious consequences and all. If public servant is performing his duty, you are restricting, those are like serious crimes, right? So that is why it becomes important, because inspector will have to inspect certain documents, visit certain industries and stuff. If those industries are restricting it, it becomes like a criminal offense, right? And accordingly, the person will be liable under various sections of IPC. Well, so that is the reason why it becomes very important and significant that inspectors are having this designation of public servant within the meaning of IPC, those various sections. What will they do basically? They will make inquiry and examination whether employers are properly obeying the rules or not. If they are saying with regard to timely payment, with regard to fixation of payment of like wages, are these things properly done or not? With regard to that, they may take up some inquiry and examination. Government may by notification appoint such person as it deems fit as inspector for the purpose of this act, and may define the local limit within which the class of factories, industrial establishment that person will work. Basically, government will mention that these are the area or jurisdiction that this person will be having, and accordingly, inspector will perform his work. What work he can do? Within all reasonable hours, he can enter any premises. And if the person is being restricted from entering the premises, that becomes a criminal offense under IPC. Make such examination of any register or documents, etc., regarding calculation of payment of wages, take on the spot or otherwise such evidences, right? Taking evidences also is a power, and exercise such other powers of inspector as he may deem necessary for that purpose. If he wants to talk to some employees, that also he can do. All other documents he wants to be produced, all that stuff, the inspector can. Inspector, with such assistance, if any, as he thinks fit, enter, inspect, and search any premises of. So it is not like, okay, fine, you are the inspector only, you can come. He may also bring few other people for his assistance. He can enter any railway, factory, industrial, or other establishment where this legislation is applicable, and he can enter there at reasonable time for the purpose of carrying out objectives of this legislation. Accordingly, he will look for all that stuff. He can also supervise payment of wages to any person employed upon the railway or any other factory or other establishment. If someone is being terminated, he can also see whether that person was paid within 2 days or not, right? All that stuff he can do. Seize or take copies of such register or documents if that is needed with regard to any sort of things, right? Reasons to believe that belief has been committed by the employer, right? With regard to any offenses, if there are some proofs and other stuff that he has got, he can even seize or take copies, right? Photocopies also he can take the original documents also. So section 14 talks about these powers of inspector. Then section 14A provides that every employer shall afford an inspector all reasonable facilities for making entry and inspection, supervision, examination, inquiry, etc. So whatever facilities or things needed to be done, those, like, it should be facilitated basically to the inspector to get the inquiry and other stuff done, right? So this is with regard to powers or functions of the inspector which the person will perform. So is this part clear?
wherever government brings someone as an assessor or examiner or auditee,
I think your voice is
government
breaking.
officers will make money.
Yeah, government officer.
Hello, can you
Government
hear me
officer.
now?
Yeah, like it's,
Can you? Yeah, is it better now, ma'am?
yeah, it is better now.
Yeah, see what I was mentioning. So wherever
Hmm.
government brings an inspector, an auditor, or an examiner, so
Hmm.
it's only way to make money for them. So rather than
Hmm.
really keeping companies things
Yeah,
proper.
that is right. They will come and be treated like kings and they will go.
Yeah,
That is right.
like
Your
they
voice
go to
is
a
coming like as
very
if you are singing.
very sorry, very sorry. Think
Yeah,
I am facing a connectivity issues from
yeah,
last 2 days, in fact.
yeah.